Welcome to Dandyland. In here we understand your friends who laugh away. We're all happy and gay. Talk to community. It's the place we all want to be. Welcome to Dandyland. The night's sultry whisper echoed through the streets like a jilted lover seeking revenge. We're closed. I said we're closed. She waltzed in with a past she couldn't remember. The air hung heavy with the fragrance of fabric softener.
Are you the detective?
That's what they tell me. What's your game, sweet sheets? It's late and I'm in no mood for charades.
I've got information about a murder.
In this line of work, you learn to be skeptical, especially of doe-eyed dames with a mysterious past. Murder, huh? Well, let me ask you one thing. Where's your evidence?
Well, that's simple, detective. The person who was murdered was me!
She had a compelling point. When did this allegedly happen?
Years, centuries, decades, I can't even tell you anymore.
Time is a fickle mistress. And if we're going to get to the bottom of this, we're going to have to go back generations. Today on Dandyland, generations. Queer history is one of my most favorite subjects, and who better to learn from than one of our queer elders?
My name is Sister Diverity Rains. I'm a sister of the Abbey of the Long Cedar Canoe of the Vancouver Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We are an order of queer nuns. They decided on Easter Saturday in 1959, I think it was, to go out in nuns' habits. They had done a production of The Sound of Music. They had such a great reception to it. In 2 years, they became a fully bona fide nonprofit. They were the first people who came out when AIDS became prominent. People were afraid of it. They didn't know what it was. Fortunately, a couple of the sisters were in the nursing profession, and they had no fear about it. So they began visiting the patients.
How old were you when you came out of the closet?
You want to know how old I was?
Mm-hmm.
I had never come out of the closet. I've never had to. I've always been accepted for who I am. In a real sense, I guess I was blessed. I came from a family that didn't put any restraints on me. Just let me be me.
Do you remember the first queer person you ever saw?
The one that I really remember, and this was in the monastery. This young fellow was in there, had no acceptance of himself who he was, yeah. And boy, did he indulge in things. If there was leftover food, there would be gone, you know. So he would take it out in other ways. Yeah. The biggest difference that I see in the queer community now from when I grew up is people are talking about it. People are communicating about it. There are more safe spaces. Drag queens can walk down the street. They can be themselves. They could not walk down the street in their drag costume because they would have been harassed or attacked.
For perspective, I invited my friend over who's a real-life LGB-Teen.
Well, hello, my name is Brooklin. I am 15. I identify with the pronouns he, him, and I am gay.
I'm gay.
Really? I had no idea.
What happened the first time you were like, oh, I think I exist in the queer community?
Let's say grade 6. New friend group, new friends, and they kind of introduced me to queerness.
And then how did all your friends react? They said, I'm gay too?
No, we all just kind of knew that we were gay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you were born 100 years ago, would it have been different?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, like what?
A whole bunch of homophobia, not being able to come out like we are now, not being as open about it, and you kind of have to hide your personality and be an entirely different person from what you are.
What advice would you give to a younger person who's afraid to come out?
Don't be scared about it. There's a lot of accepting people out there.
The advice that I give to a young person, find your friends. accept yourself, and don't be afraid to be yourself.
Growing up queer these days is quite a conundrum. To learn more, I went to the local college to visit the gay library.
I am Coco. I am one of the co-coordinators, or one of the Cocos, about on the shelves.
What was coming out like for you?
I don't know that I really had quite a coming out process. I think I was 12 and in middle school, and I kind of discovered there were options other than straight. As you know, like a sheltered immigrant child. And I was like, great, well, I like boobs. Guess I'm queer. And then just kind of slowly discovering that there was such a thing as being asexual and then aromantic. Again, not so much a coming out process. I think also because I was telling someone that, hey, I think I might be aromantic. And they said, oh, we thought we'd already... Did we not know this already? I thought we'd established that.
Would you describe yourself as confident?
Sure.
Well-adjusted? What advice would you give a younger queer person?
There's no rush. You can just do your own thing, I think. I didn't figure out it was aromantic until probably a year ago. And that was very interesting because in my first year of my undergraduate degree, I had gone to my roommate and said, hey, do you think I'm aromantic? And she said, no, you fall in love with like everyone you meet. And then in fourth year, I was like, hey, do you think I might be aromantic? She went, yes, you fall in love with everyone you meet. And I was like, well, what is that supposed to mean? And so, you know, things might change over time and how we understand things and how we see things might change. But I think just keep doing you.
I am sort of in a position where I was in sort of the last phase of having to deal with homophobia internally, where now people can express themselves more and it's more accepted, and I think that's wonderful that younger people are able to do that.
You have social media growing up. Do you think that changes the queer experience?
I think so, because I was introduced to like drag queens at a very young age as well, like 10 or 11. It was very cool to experience something that I've never seen before.
For me, I didn't discover asexuality until I was on social media. And so for me, that was kind of a big process of discovering my identity. And also a good number of ace folks I have met are online.
How many friends do you have that you met online?
That I met online, say 10 or 11. I have a couple of friends that I exclusively know online. Like I said, I grew up in a very conservative town, so being able to talk to people online with similar experiences was wonderful.
My first venture into the community was with gaycanada.com. That's another thing that's different today, that the youth can continue to make things happen. It just doesn't, in my day it was, there's no news. Well, that's it. There's no news. But now you can find out where the news is and what it is.
Are all young people as cool as you?
I think so.
Yeah. Is it because they're young or because they're queer?
I think both. I think so.
Oh, hello, darling. Hi, Lavender Society. You've caught me doing one of my favorite things. Talking to my grandma.
Well, hello there.
Grandma, you're just my type. I love hanging out with you.
Oh.
You know, things have changed between our generations. She's super accepting, even though she comes from a time where that wouldn't always necessarily be the case.
I just want you to be happy, dear.
Grandma, I want to play a game. I'm going to say some new slang from my generation, and I want you to guess what it is.
That sounds nice.
Okay, Grandma. What does bet mean?
Oh, I know. It's gambling.
No. It's like you say something to agree with something. Like, oh yeah, bet. Okay, fam.
Flan?
Fam, Grandma.
Are they a singer?
It means family. Okay, simp.
The seafood.
Simp. It's someone who does way too much for a person that they have a huge crush on.
Oh, I love that.
How about ghosting?
Oh, you're not talking about that depressed old Debbie Downer in the house, are ya?
Well, no, it's not the person who lives in the house. Ghosting is when you just completely stop talking to someone out of the blue
Guilty.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. living in your head rent-free.
Wait, what? Can you just say that one again? That's a little long for you, Grandma.
Living in your head rent-free.
Oh, honey, you've been doing that since you were born. I just love you so much.
Oh, Grandma, that's so sweet. And I actually think you got that one.
Oh.
High key.
Is that drugs? No, I took a Klonopin once.
No, Grandma. High key is just the opposite of low key.
I don't like that one.
Okay. What about ship?
Ooh, like a boat. Oh, and a boat filled with sailors. Oh, I love sailors.
Grandma, how old are you?
Well, I was made in 1986.
No way. You're a millennial? Wow, you really are ancient.
We run a lot of programs for kids, theater programs, improv, acting, all of that. We've had a lot of requests where kids want to learn about drag. Finally, there's drag that's accessible to an all-ages audience. It's not just in the dark bars in the middle of the night, but kids want to learn about it outside of just a YouTube makeup tutorial. It's an extension of what you learn in an acting class. It's presence, it's confidence, it's authenticity. Authenticity is a beautiful thing to let kids explore.
Every once in a while, no matter how far we've come, there's some severe pushback.
I think you know you're doing something right if people start screaming and protesting outside of your building. I do. But if you want to engage in the world, you're going to come across things that challenge you, and that's a beautiful thing. So, when people want to show up in front of a children's theater and scream, you have a party. You bring out all of your rainbow flags, you crank the music, you put out the lights. The only way you can change someone's mind is by having way more fun than they're having.
3 lines that I really see are the, targeting of children, right? So the, classic, if you have a gay teacher, all the kids in the class are going to be gay. The same thing's happening with trans youth now, right? It's the fact that trans people exist, and if they're adults, the thing that the right is saying is that's going to make all these youth now trans because they see that being trans is okay. And the targeting that we see with these drag time story hours are around youth. It's always youth because it's what the right can use as a real moral panic to sort of then use that as a way to get into people's brains well, you don't want kids to be corrupted, but that slippery slope doesn't stop there. What we're hearing from these people is they want to legislate away all rights for specifically trans people. It's a rough time, and I think we all know that the right is doing this as a way to really not talk about real issues. They're trying to scapegoat people, and they always go after the most vulnerable folks.
The world is a lot gayer now than it was when I was a child, that's for sure. And I think the generation under us are really paving the way in sort of throwing pronouns and identities up in the air into this big glittery explosion, and I think that's hopeful. I think everyone is starting to realize that we don't have to stay in our lane because there aren't actually lanes, and we're finally seeing the picture. And the picture is just a giant rainbow. It was the whole time. We were just too busy zoomed in.
Today's episode of Dandyland is brought to you by Dial-Up Internet.
A freak laundromat accident.
That's what it says here.
So not murder?
Correct. Although, that would explain why you always look like sheep.
Can we say it was murder though? Just for TikTok?
I'll allow it.
Good.
And just like that, she walked out of my life as swiftly as she came in.
chuggy.
Oh, chuggy! Chuggy, chuggy, choo choo!
No, Grandma.
Was I right? I was right.
Grandma, you just said the word more times.
No, I said choo choo at the end. It's a train, chuggy.
Oh, a train. No, Grandma. Chuggy is something that's the opposite of trendy. Which I guess trains are the opposite of trendy now.